You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Welcome to the latest episode of the Pulse of East Providence with Mayor Bob DeSilva. You know, our administration tries to use all means of communication to reach out to our residents to let them know about some of the great things happening in and around East Providence. You know, recently, a lot of our small businesses have been impacted by the sudden bridge closure that happened in December of 2023. Here we are now, several months later, a third lane's now opened up, and traffic is moving much more smoothly through our community. We're utilizing this program now to highlight some of our small businesses. What makes East Providence a great place is that we have an incredible wealth of different diverse businesses, a lot of great restaurants. But one of the things that we're known for, and we're getting to be known for more and more, is our medical practices. People come from all over Rhode Island and the region to get medical care. Today, I'm honored to be here with a well-known doctor in the orthodontics field. And I know this person because she was my son's doctor, Dr. Kirsten Romani of Romani Orthodontics. Thank you for being here today.
I'm excited to be here with you, Mayor. Thank you for having me.
Now, I always love to start the show off by asking my guests to tell us a little something about themselves and like what led you to the path of being an orthodontist.
All right. Well, I grew up in New Jersey. I went to college in Vermont. I married my 18-year-old sweetheart. We've been together now 31 years married, 38 years total. Wow. We ended up coming to Rhode Island because he found a job first in Providence. We fell in love with the state in 1996, and we have 3 beautiful children who are now all college age. And I basically started practicing orthodontics in 96. So 96. It's been 27 years that I've been here.
27 years.
869 Broadway.
Have you been at Broadway for 27 years
I have,
straight? Wow,
yes.
That's
it was my first job out of residency.
Was it really? Now that is a beautiful facility. You
Yes.
put a lot of upgrades into it. It's a very modern practice. Give us the background on how did you start a business? I mean, this is something that it's scary to a lot of people to start your own practice. I mean, you've got a lot of people employed here.
Well, you know what? It started as an orthodontic business in 1968.
Okay.
So that building has been doing orthodontics for generations, wow. 55 years. Wow. It's been there. My predecessor, Ray George, is the one who founded it. Mm-hmm. And when I came on in 96, it was a practice named Orthodontic Partners, and I became a junior partner after a couple of years, and then I had the opportunity in 2008 to take it over as a solo business. And so I have 2 locations, East Providence and Chepachet, and so it's been Romani Orthodontics now since 2008.
How many people do you employ there? When I used to go in, my youngest son, Dorian, did have some good work, quality work by Dr. Romani. How many, but you employ a lot of East Providence residents there, right?
We do. Our total number of employees is currently 11.
That's fantastic.
And different levels of expertise in different departments, because there is, a clinical side where we're working on the teeth. There's a financial side of people who are helping with payment plans and insurance. There's the reception, such an important job, welcoming, friendly, managing phones. It takes an amazing team, and I will tell you, the ladies that I work with are really the reason for our success. We have built a really wonderful, highly skilled, but very personable team, and that's critical.
That is, and it's in any business, right? The people around you, the people you work with, that makes a difference in whether you're successful or not. Now, I know a lot of people are nervous about going to orthodontics visits. Explain, how do you make people feel at ease?
Okay, that's a great question. Well, first thing is we remove any fear of a financial barrier because it's a free evaluation at any age. And we have really built our office to feel warm and welcoming and comfortable. It's one thing to have all the technology of the latest and greatest, but you've got to have that warm, comfortable feeling. And we strive to make it comfortable for all ages because honestly, orthodontics runs from age 7, and I used to say to age 77, because we start with early screenings in 7-year-olds and we go all the way up through adulthood. What would you guess is my oldest patient to date? I just finished treating her with Invisalign.
Really?
What if you had to guess, Mayor, what would you think?
I would think maybe in the 60s, but you're telling me 77, so I would imagine past 77?
93.
93?
Yeah, so age is no obstacle.
Okay.
You know, we had good reason to be working on her mouth. She had healthy bone and gums, was approved by her dentist, and just a delightful patient. So age is no obstacle. But we try to make our office feel warm, welcoming, comfortable. And I always talk about financials because people get nervous. They hear orthodontics, and it's important to understand that it's a free evaluation, and then more than half of our families don't carry orthodontic insurance. And so our job is to help fit it into their budget with payment plans and extended payments, and we do all of that interest-free.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
That is fantastic. And that probably is one of the things that keep people from visiting an orthodontics office, because they're afraid they're not going to be able to afford it. They're afraid of financial impact. But really, for your health and for your, how you feel about yourself, it matters. It matters a lot. And you do a lot of the before and afters. I've seen those. That's fantastic. My son, when he had to have braces, and you took your staff had taken photos and X-rays before.
Yeah.
And then they, when you graduated, they gave us the photos of the before and after.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yes.
You don't realize the amazing work that your staff do on people's.
Well, and the
smiles.
patients really evolve with self-esteem in the process.
Yes.
And not every kid is happy to be there getting braces, but boy, are they happy with their smile. And we have more adults than ever. 50% of my practice is adults. And they're paying for it themselves. They're motivated. Everybody wants a beautiful smile. Everybody deserves a beautiful smile. But I always remind people, it's not just about looking good. It's about chewing well, healthy function. And so both parts of that equation are really important.
Did I hear somewhere online that braces are now in fashion? Seems to be people out there, they want the braces to be like a fashion statement. So that's interesting.
It is.
Now, tell us, I know you have this great love of animals. Tell us about your love of animals.
Well, fun fact, I live on a farm in Gloucester. I mentioned our Chepachet office. So when my husband Dan and I met in college in Vermont, we loved the feeling of the farm. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Dan found a job in Providence, Rhode Island Historical Society, and we really fell in love with Rhode Island. And so living on a farm in Gloucester kind of gives us the best of both worlds. I can be right to my East Providence office from my home in like 23 minutes. And so that gives us the best of both worlds. So anyway, back to the animals. Our farm, we have cows,
Wow.
miniature donkeys, miniature goats, and chickens for eggs.
That's
and
fantastic.
it was a great way to raise our family. It was a really great way for our kids to grow
How
up.
many children do you have?
3 children. My oldest, Sophia, is 23. She's an aspiring veterinarian. She's in the process of applying to vet school. My husband, Dan, we have a middle son named Daniel, and he just graduated from college with an English degree.
Nice.
And so he's actually got his first job writing for AI. And then our youngest child, Ashlyn, is a college student in Charleston, South Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah, and she found her niche, and she may never come back north. She's very happy down there.
She
in
likes the
heat.
weather down there,
Yes.
right? Now, if someone's looking for an orthodontics office, what do you tell people? What should they be looking for?
Well, I think it's important to look for experience, but again, it's not just about the doctor, it's about the team, and you want to make sure that your orthodontist knows what they're doing. We're very proud of our Invisalign designation as a Diamond Plus provider, and so what that means, Invisalign, I mentioned, half of our patients are adults. And you mentioned braces are a fashion statement, and for many, yes, but there are many who want to fly under the radar screen, not look like they're wearing braces. Invisalign technology is a clear removable aligner, and our practice does a lot of it. And so we've been recognized by the Invisalign company as a Diamond Plus provider. That means we do a lot of it, we do it very well, we know what we're doing, and with that experience comes efficiency, because everybody wants that beautiful smile, but they want to get it as quickly as possible and as safely as possible, and so that's what we're trying to do.
I never really understood the whole concept behind Invisalign. So Invisalign is the same thing as having traditional braces, except it's invisible, right? It does the same thing, correct?
It's done with plastic,
Yeah.
and on many cases it can do the same. Some cases it can do even better.
Wow.
But there are still cases where braces are best,
Right.
and that's why an evaluation in person, I think, is a critical part of the treatment plan.
So if a person wants to get in touch with your office, what's the best way?
Well, we have a great website, RomaniOrthodontics.com. It has convenient links on just about every page to schedule an appointment. It will prompt you to call us. We still like that personal connection with the voice over the phone. And if you leave a message because we're not open or you're calling after hours, we'll get right back to you the next business day.
Now, I know you're a big supporter of youth sports. Every time I turn around, I see a new youth organization being sponsored by your office.
We try.
and you've got some of the best swag. You walk in there and you've got all kinds of cool items in there with your name on it, so that you get the message out about your company. So look, we are very fortunate to have you in our community as a partner.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you wanted to share with the community about your practice or yourself?
Just that we really appreciate each and every patient, and we work with all ages. As I said, we build relationships. It's all about getting to know your people personally, and not just the patient, but any extended family members. So we're very family friendly. But as I said, we also cater to busy adults juggling jobs. We try and work with flexible scheduling, and we pride ourselves on being high tech and high touch. And I just have to give one more shout out to my amazing team, because without them, I couldn't provide the care that we do. It all comes down to the team at the Romani Orthodontics just helping us be the best we can be, taking care of our patients.
Good people. I've always enjoyed my visits there. And located at 849, is it?
869.
869 Broadway. 869 Broadway in East Providence. Easy to get to. Easy
Nice
on.
big parking lot, yep, and corner of Grosvenor Street.
Corner of Grosvenor. You have to go check it out. Great practice. Look, we pride ourselves that East Providence is a place where you want to live, learn, work, and play. And it's because people like Dr. Romani, who invest their life in caring for our residents and creating a business that employs people who are also residents in our community. So we want to say thank you. Thank you so much. And when we come back, we're going to hear from another practice here in East Providence, and we'll see you in a bit. And welcome back. My next guest is a person it's a family business. They've been in East Providence for quite some time. I'm going to let Denise Lincoln from New Hope Family Chiropractic tell us about the business and introduce herself. I know that your husband, Dr. Roger Lincoln, is the chiropractor on duty.
Yeah.
You've been working together now how many years?
Since 2009.
2009.
So 15 years or so?
15
Yeah,
years.
15
Now,
years, yeah.
so tell us where you're located.
Yeah. Right now we're located at 2728 Pawtucket Avenue,
Okay.
across from S&W Appliance.
We all know S&W.
You know S&W.
I've purchased multiple appliances from
Yeah,
S&W.
that's always a good point of reference.
It
when people
is.
ask for where we're located, yeah. And we started off on Forbes Street in Riverside. Perfect little community to start off, and absolutely, as a matter of fact, we live in Riverside now.
You do?
And yep, we wanted to bring chiropractic care to the residents there, and it was a great place to work in the very beginning. Yeah.
Wonderful. So I usually like to start off when I'm interviewing a guest. Tell us a little bit about yourself. In this case, you're going to be telling us about you and Roger, how you guys met, how you ended up here in East Providence,
Yeah.
and how you got into business together.
Yeah. Wow, boy, when I think back, what a road, what a journey. So Roger was born and raised in Seekonk. I'm from Pennsylvania originally.
Okay.
Moved up here after high school, and that's when we met afterwards. And we dated and got married. What brought him into the chiropractic field, I think is really important to mention here, and that brought us into East Providence and opening our practice and so on and so forth. Back in the early 80s, when the computer technology first started, he decided he wanted to become a computer programmer. And, but he was going to school part-time, and he was in construction. And he hurt his back really bad. And that's always scary. When everybody hurts their back, it's really bad. As a matter of fact, the leading cause of disability in America is back pain. And he was young. At the time, we didn't have any kids, but you're thinking about your future and so on and so forth. So he followed the doctor's, prescription of pain relievers. He did PT, he did stretching exercises, icing, resting, so on. And he did that for about 10 years or so. And the turning point was one day he woke up and he just fell to the floor. Absolutely had no feeling in his leg, no strength in his leg at all. So after that, ended up getting an MRI. He had a very severe bulging disc. Decided to have an operation. It's called a partial discectomy, where they just take the part of the disc that's bulging, they remove that. And it helped. It didn't clear it up completely, but it did help. Shortly after that, though, he decided to look into chiropractic, and it just changed his whole life.
Really?
His back pain was gone. His neck pain, he was having some neck pain too, that cleared up. But there's other aspects of his life, though, too. He suffered from migraines from time to time. He had allergies. He was going to an allergy specialist and getting shots every month. And his blood pressure was also getting up there, too. So after starting the chiropractic care, changing his lifestyle, absolutely no medication whatsoever, and he was so impressed with the results. He says, people need to know about chiropractic, and so he decided to change his profession from a computer programmer to a chiropractor.
Oh, that's a great story.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But that also, I'm sure people know who are listening out there that your back is so important, and it connects to so many of your other bodily functions, like how you feel, how you walk around, and how you even with what you mentioned, because I had heard this before. People sometimes will have these recurring headaches, and it has to do with something not aligned correctly with their back. So
absolutely,
that's important for people to know that New Hope Family Chiropractic is located right here in East Providence on Pawtucket Avenue, and if somebody wants to come in and see you or the doctor, what's the best way to do it? Just walk in?
Well, best way is to give us a call. You can walk in,
okay.
And if he has time available, he can see you there. That can be iffy, though, sometimes, because we have a very busy practice. Best thing to do is to call ahead of time. Okay. Our telephone number is 401-433-3600. You can also go onto our website, newhopefamilychiropractic.com, and you can schedule a new patient appointment on the website, too, as well. I'll see that, and then I'll give you a call, or give the person a call that's scheduled, and get some information, billing information, so on and so forth. And we like to send them a nice welcome video to our office and so on.
Fantastic.
Very easy.
Now, what are some examples? People sometimes think that you need to, you can't go to a chiropractor because I need to be unable to walk, or I need to be so bad that I can't. What are some examples where people really should seek chiropractic help?
Well, you just named a few.
Right.
Really, I'm going to give you a few examples. I have some pictures too as well. The first example is a patient. His name is Dennis. Dennis came to us with absolutely severe shoulder pain. Had no use of his right arm whatsoever. Could not use it. He couldn't do anything. And came to see Dr. Lincoln. After about 4 months, he had full use of his arm.
Wow, that's great.
He recommended his brother-in-law, Chuck, to come see us. Chuck had been in the construction business for about 40 years, injured his back, had 2 back surgeries, and even after the second back surgery, he had a hard time walking from his house even to the car. So Dennis was like, Chuck, you got to see this guy. Come see this guy. I got a guy, right? Go down. I got a guy. I got a guy. So he came to see Dr. Lincoln now, and 6 months later, they are both playing golf 3 times a week, and just feeling fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So that's one example there. Another one, a young girl came to us, a young mother. Her daughter was 9 months old at the time, and she had injured her back, and she was using a cane to come see us. I mean, the sciatic was so bad. She was getting headaches and so on and so forth. Again, after a number of months of chiropractic care, she is feeling fantastic. Another patient that, these are just individual examples, but we see this every day, Mayor. We see this every day. Absolutely life-changing. That's what brings us to work every day. You know, it's fantastic. And patients just love to come in the office. They love the atmosphere. And so this individual, her name is Patricia, she had been suffering from migraines since she was in middle school and been on medication ever since. Getting to the point where she might be thinking about retiring, but she's still working. The problem was she was at risk of losing her job because time off of work because of the migraines and so on. So she literally came into our office and said, "You are my last hope. You're my last hope. I have tried everything else. I went to all kinds of doctors, had this medication, nothing is happening. 3 months now, she has not had one migraine, not one migraine or headache. She is, you know, just so enthusiastic about chiropractic now.
Those are remarkable stories, and I think I'm glad you're sharing those. Thank you, because I think a lot of people look at getting chiropractic help as something related to I was involved in an accident, I slipped and fell, but it could be something like you're mentioning. You know, something at some point could have became unaligned.
Right.
You may not even realize. I mean, look, as I get older, sometimes I sneeze and my back hurts. So I'm sure you get those stories too. But it's remarkable. The examples that you shared are important. I hope people are at home watching this and thinking, you know what, there is hope for me. There's hope for me at New Hope Family Chiropractic.
That's right.
Located on Pawtucket Avenue in East Providence. What would you say is one of the most memorable moments in your family's career that you could share with the community?
Oh my gosh, there's just so many.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can just pinpoint one of them because there's just so many people that have come in, and that could barely walk. You know, some babies, for example. There's one beautiful example. She was about a month, maybe 6 weeks old or so. Parents brought her in, congenital torticollis. So she was born, and her head was in this direction, and she could not move it this way. So she was what we call subluxated or misaligned in her upper cervical area, and it was probably because of the delivery somehow. She was going to PT, they were bringing her to PT and trying to do their best. And at the time, the mom was coming to see us for chiropractic, and she was like, do you think Dr. Lincoln can help her? Absolutely, Brought the little baby in. I would say probably about the 4th or 5th visit, she was able to turn her head back and forth.
That's incredible.
Yep.
Those are great stories.
So many people just, they don't realize what chiropractic can do.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things we'd like to ask people is, why should people choose New Hope Family Chiropractic as their place to get help?
That's a good question. Thank you so much. Dr. Lincoln is a Gonstead chiropractor. A lot of people don't realize that not all chiropractors practice the same. They have different techniques. His technique is the Gonstead technique. And he's the only Gonstead doctor in the state of Rhode Island. And the closest Gonstead doctors would be in the Boston area, and I think there's 1 or 2 in Hartford and the southern part of Connecticut.
Can you explain for those who may not know what the difference is?
Okay.
Thank you.
So the biggest difference is the protocol.
Okay.
The adjusting techniques too, but also the protocol. He takes x-rays out of all of his patients, full spine, nice digital clear x-rays, does it right in the office. He also uses what's called a neuroscope. It's a dial with two nodes on it, and he runs that down the patient's back, and it detects changes in temperature, throughout the spine. So if you have any type of misalignment and there's inflammation there, you're going to have more blood flow, it's going to be warmer, and so the needle will go off in that direction or this direction. And so he knows right off the bat that that's an area that he needs to look into. Palpation. So if he knows there's an area of the spine that is misaligned, he'll put his hands on that part of the spine and then move the patient this way, front. So he wants to see how that vertebrae is moving in relation to the one above it and below it, okay? Just visual. He could just watch a person walk down the hall and you can tell exactly what's going on with that person. So he takes all this information together. The neuroscope shows him where to adjust. The x-rays show him how to adjust, and the palpation and so on. And then the adjusting technique itself is quite different. He's probably one of the best cervical adjusters in the area. Mayor, we have people that come, they call us because they want specifically a Gonstead doctor. We have patients that come from Groton, Connecticut, the northeastern part of Connecticut, Webster, Mass, Foxborough, East Freetown, Rochester, Charlestown, Jamestown, Middletown, as well as a lot of people, of course, in the East Providence community and the surrounding Providence area too. So, yeah, it's an amazing chiropractor.
So I am so grateful that you took time out of
Yeah.
your day to come and share with our community the
Thank
great
you.
services that you and your husband provide to our community. And I think it's one of the things that makes East Providence a great place. I mean, you have, and I mentioned it earlier in this broadcast, so many different businesses that are here to serve our community.
Yes.
And we've got a great number of medical facilities and medical practitioners that are here for our residents. So for everyone out there, I want to thank Denise Lincoln from New Hope Family Chiropractic for coming and joining us today. Today we had the opportunity to listen to two great medical practices, Romani Orthodontics and New Hope Family Chiropractic. You know, we try our best to highlight businesses in our community so that our residents can get the services that they need, the services that they may not be aware are right around the corner from them. You know, so this is why we do this show, and this is why we urge you to go on our Facebook page, check out our website, eastprovinceri.gov. You know, we try to use as many different ways as possible to communicate with you. Sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter is at the bottom of the page at eastprovinceri.gov. You can sign up to get your monthly or bi-weekly newsletter. We're trying to get the messaging out to you. Once again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
and we'll
for
see you
having
next
me.
time on The Pulse of East Providence with Mayor Bob DeSilva.